You want to get on the same page as much as you can about how you're going to discipline, what the rules of the home are. You guys have to be solid. I'm Florence Ann Romano, former nanny and child care expert. I'm on a mission to empower families with everyday challenges. This is the Windy City Nanny.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Jerry, and we have a 2-year-old son named Watts.
I just recently stopped breastfeeding, and that's been a big change.
This change is also causing some behavioral differences in Watts, and we're discovering that we might not necessarily be on the same page about those things.
We're really hoping Florence Ann can help.
It's great to see you guys.
Nice to see you.
Thank you guys for having me over.
Thank you for coming. Really, this is great.
Thrilled to be here.
Yeah.
So tell me what's going on.
So we really wanted to reach out to you because just recently Watts turned 2 and breastfeeding champ. We'd been breastfeeding the whole time.
Okay.
And kind of made the decision like we're gonna stop. 2 felt like a very good amount of time.
Yeah. And you did a great job.
you.
Getting to 2 is huge.
Thank you. He's been definitely missing it. And I'm surprised at how much I've been missing it too. I think there's like, nobody really talks about the fact that you're like missing hormones. All of a sudden you're getting like, hits of oxytocin like twice a day and now you're not anymore. And as well as my change with my relationship with him has just been really different.
How's it affected you, Jerry?
I think things for the most part are great as far as my bonding with Watts. I do worry about Watts's just clamoring for Stephanie's boob all the time, and like putting his hand down and always has to be consoled. And I'm like, just tell him no and just move on. And I realize that it's hard, but coming from my perspective, I'm very much just like, well, just do the thing that you want to do, and he's going to cry because that's what babies do, right?
So that's what you've been doing, is just when he reaches for you, you just say no. I'm sensing that's not what's happening. Maybe he wants you to do that, but you're not.
I'm not super strict about it. So my hope was that really when we're out in public, this was not an issue anymore. It has definitely calmed down, I think.
Definitely.
When we're at home, I feel like, I get home from work and he just like he'll actually ask for a snuggle. And
So that's his word for...
I taught him that.
Yes. Yeah. Talk a little bit more about how it's affecting you hormonally, because I'm hearing 2 different things.
Yeah.
You want to transition him out, but you're also allowing him a lot of leeway with it.
No.
So you can't have both. So, how can you make that work? And I'm already making you cry.
Yeah.
It's nothing that you're doing wrong. It's just that I can see that you want it, but you're afraid that you're making him feel bad or hurting him in the process. What is the emotion
to cut it off?
To cutting it off?
I think I'm a sucker for giving him what he wants.
And where does that guilt come from?
It's not a guilt. It's a, he's asking for something and I can give it to him. It is hard to see him upset. So if I can stop that, great. Then the question comes in when it's a disciplinary issue and not just a comfort soothing issue. Can I follow through or not?
Well, then let's talk about the discipline side of things, because it's all related. This action of transitioning is something that is a rule now that you're laying down. You may not be seeing it that way, but it is a boundary now with him and you. Regarding discipline in your house, how does that go in every other respect? Who's the bad cop, good cop? Is there no bad cop, no good cop? What's the dynamic here?
I don't think we've gotten to the place to where we need a good cop, bad cop. But if there was, I definitely would be the bad cop in the family. For me, a lot of times when he's having a tantrum and it's just him and I actually just let him cry. I said no, and he might fight me on that, but I'm like, all right, you deal with the consequence. When Steph disciplines, it's more about the consoling, the hugging, which I do sometimes. Like if he hurts himself or something, but usually when it's a disciplinary no, and especially a hard no, I just let him cry.
It's funny because I can see you dying inside a little bit, Steph, thinking that you're right now and you're hearing him say he's given that hard no and this is the way he's dealing with it, because that's not necessarily how you would deal with it.
And it's not like I object to Jerry doing that. It's more like I know, I mean, we've even talked about it where Jerry's been like, you need to like put your foot down, you know? He knows how to manipulate you. Oh my gosh, there was early, months ago when bedtime was a little bit rough, and we'd put him down and he would be crying and I'd go in, and there was one time where I was like, wow, he didn't eat a lot of dinner. Are you hungry? Yeah. Do you want something to eat? Do you want some milk? Yeah. And I take him out because I'm like, I need to feed my child. And Jerry's like, what are you doing? Like, he knows how to manipulate you. Look at what is happening. And I was just like, oh.
He's working the system. This child's working the system for sure.
He gets upset. He's like, if I go in there to try to console him, he freaks out even more because he knows that I'm like going to be hard on him. Like, when we stick with something and we do it for about a week or two, he gets it, and then you don't have to deal with it again. That's why I put my foot down where it's like, no, you said we were going to do this. You have to continue.
Do it. Be consistent.
You have to
because otherwise
follow
he
through.
doesn't get it.
Usually the new rules are stated by her.
Okay.
And also broken by her. And I'm over here getting frustrated because I'm like, you're the one who said you wanted to do this.
Oh,
so,
boy.
yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with you guys having different parenting styles, but the problem comes now when you're looking at the dynamics of his life. You are a certain way with him, you are a certain way with him, and his nanny is a certain way with him.
Yeah.
So you have this trifecta here of people, and he's working the system in all three of these relationships. But that's normal for a child to try to test boundaries and figure out the relationship with the parent or the nanny or whomever it is. But your job, especially at this age now, more important than ever, is to lay down that discipline and groundwork. So for you two especially, you want to get on the same page as much as you can about how you're going to discipline, what the rules of the home are. You guys have to be solid. You have to be on the same page about what you want to do. Did you talk about, when you were pregnant, talk about your family values and how it was going to influence you raising Watts? Did you start talking about what type of parents you wanted to be before he arrived?
From that first day that we found out, we agreed that it was really important to concentrate on what we were doing as a couple, as individuals.
It was important for us to stay connected and build that bond between us because that's what Watts is going to end up witnessing and bringing into the world going forward.
We're a family because of us. Really.
Because you chose each other.
Yeah.
And if our relationship isn't tight, probably means that his relationship with us isn't going to be tight or whatever that is.
Right.
You know, explaining to Steph why I do things the way I do things has been definitely a chore because I don't know why I do things. It's just the way just the way it's done. Right?
That's all you know.
That's all I know.
Right.
And navigating through that and discovering, oh, I do these things because this thing happened at one point in time in my life. So maybe it is time for me to like let go of certain values or certain behaviors or certain things that served me up until this new point in my life.
But that's part of life. You know, your values don't always remain the same because you don't always remain the same. You know, your values of the home now versus what they'll be 5 years from now, or maybe even a year from now, are going to be different based on how your relationship changes, how you individually change, how Watts is growing. So, you know, not being afraid of continuing this conversation. So what are the values of your family? If you had to prioritize it, give me the top 3 things in your family.
I guess it's always shifting, but I think it would be God first, or our idea of God, and
I think self is huge. It's sort of like self and relationships are
self-actualization.
Really important.
And I don't know, the third one, I don't know, if it's home or
Let's look at it this way.
Yeah.
If you were to look at it from Watts's point of view, if you were to say what I want Watts's values to be, not that you have control over what he's going to grow up to be or want, but right now as you're molding him, what are the three? God, self-actualizing, and what would be a third?
I would say fun. I want him to be able to value fun and use it to his advantage and the advantage of others. So that way it's like he's living in a perpetual state of
Joy.
So
Joy.
Joy. You want to change it out for joy?
Sure.
Change it to joy.
Okay.
Yeah.
God.
Do that as an adjective.
Okay.
Yeah,
God, self-actualizing, and joy.
Yeah, for sure.
And right now that defines who you are as a family.
I think so. Yeah.
We've had this amazing conversation. You've shared so much of your heart with me and your life with Watts, the life you're building together. And this values conversation is really, like I said, going to anchor you. And in order to do that, you have to be able to see it every day. So I brought a little activity for us to do with Watts. I'd love to bring Watts in to help us assemble it.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. Stephanie and Jerry made it very clear that the most important thing to them is that they are this amazing unit of love. You and your spouse really have to be on the same page. You have to be a unified front. Start figuring out what's important to you as a family. What are your values? And that's going to guide you in your relationship with your children.
Hey, Florence Ann, thank you so much for coming over and spending some time with us.
It really helped have that conversation with you about values and bringing those into our lives more proactively.
And we've been doing a lot of reflecting on family bonding and individual bonding between the three of us. And it's been really, really great. Thank you, Florence Ann.
For more episodes, subscribe to my YouTube channel and go to windycitynanny.com for more content.